What is bullying, and I guess what makes it different from just kids being kids behavior?
You know, bullying is a type of aggression that's peer against peer. So how do we define bullying? Like, what is bullying? You know, it has to be that there's something harmful happening to a person. So often that's physical, could be verbal, could be social, and or even emotional abuse that somebody's being perpetrated. We talk about not only the harm, but the fact that it has to be an unfair match. So students, peers can be interacting with each other in really hostile ways, but they are evenly matched, verbally, physically, emotionally, socially, that type of thing. But it's when it's the unfair match, then that really puts the person at risk. And then the last thing, when we think about what is bullying, we talk about repetition. And we say the more it's repeated, the more difficult it is for the person who's being bullied.
Right, and some of those things define the difference between bullying and just being aggressive or a fight. You know, a fight is a one-time thing, evenly matched.
That's right.
So those three key things that Jolyn mentioned, they're differentiated from a fight, from an argument.
From kids being kids.
Kids being kids.
On the playground, in the classroom.
Right. It's that unfair match that makes you feel like I can't do anything about this.
That's right.
And that's the extra kind of piece.
Talking about labels a little bit, I've been reading that it's dangerous in itself to refer to children as either a victim or a bully, and that we should be saying the child who bullies, the child who is bullied. Why is that important?
You know, for a long time, I think especially with the word victim really denotes, oh, I am somehow helpless. I internalize that word as a victim. So to be able to shift people's thinking, especially the person who is being bullied, shift their thinking away from I'm a victim to even I'm a target. Somebody at this point is has decided to pick on me, and I'm that person's target for this moment, but any moment it could be somebody else who's the target. So I think it's really disempowering to use words like victim, and it's much more empowering for people when you use things like, you know, target, or you are the child who's being picked on or bullied at this point. Yeah, labels are never good for people. We internalize them in unproductive ways.
And targets don't always get hit. Victims.
That's right.
If you're a victim, you're a victim.
That's
but
right.
if you're a target, you might get hit, you might get missed, might be somebody else. So that's a distinction we try and make. And your point about the other piece is, yes, like we do with many abilities or disabilities, the child is doing bullying. The child is being victim. It's they're still a child. They're not those things. Those are bullying as a thing one does, not who you are.
It's a behavior.
That's right. It's a behavior, and we want to differentiate them. It's not the child that's that way. It's what they've done, and that allows us to think about changing the behavior.
Even when I think about, you know, the label victim and how I would incorporate that into my own thinking and how it would diminish me. But I might be, you know, the bully, and I might end up feeling really good about the power that I have around that. So being called the bully then empowers me, and so it can be really unproductive for people. One
of the things we see, if you're looking for what's my child going through, the child who is being victimized is a target. In some ways can look for another target to gain some sense of that power back. So child bullying, right. Younger children, that's one of the things you can get into both sides of it.
That is true. Well, yeah, I can be a person who's being bullied, and I can bully at the same time. Yeah, it might be at home with my younger sibs. It might be younger kids in the school building.